Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to my my February wrap-up part 2. Bleh! I have come to an end of a very, very stressful month with my knee. Very up and down month emotionally. Trust me, my world is going chaotic at the moment. But things are going to get better, I'm sure. My cable arrived for my device. I am back on track. I am better. I'm getting better. Fed up of getting older, but I'm getting better. So let's say that that's the end of the February. It's gone. It's in the bin. Today's the last day of February that I'm filming this and it's in the bin. But I did it. Reading wise, I had a great month on my ratings. But I'll tell you that in a minute. First few minutes will be stats. I don't want to have this a long video because I would like to. I've decided I am going to do, like I said, one standalone review a month. I'm going to do more chatting. I'm going to try and do more reviews on Goodreads and Instagram a bit more. On Goodreads and Instagram, I'll always write at least, on Goodreads, I'll always write at least a 1 sentence or 2 sentence review. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes anyway. So, the stats wise, I read 31 books in total. Had 28 of those were off my unread TBR. I gained 32 books. You would have seen my book haul, which I'll link down below. I unhauled 7 off my unread TBR. Yes, I'm doing clear outs. I'll be doing the same in March because with the birthday month, I want to make sure that I clear room for books that I need. I'm going to be really fussy, really strict. I did have 1 DNF, which is included in that unhaul of the unread TBR because I did have 1 DNF, which was The Gifts by Liz Hyder. I've told you I'm going to tell you what they are. It just didn't work for me. It's dark gothic. I like some dark gothic, like with the Brontes and the things like that, and some witchy books, but not. It's just in general. I think I need to. At the moment, I'm not ready. I need to look for self-care. I need to be looking for books that have got, you know, just they're going to make me a bit happier. But so, here's the interesting bits. February's unread TBR was 309. March is 306. I've got it down by 3. Only down by 3, but that's good. I know March to April could well go up because, like I said, birthday month, London trip. I'm not going to get stressed. I've also got a lot of books to read that are bigger books, so as to where they get read. Oh, sneaky peek. I thought I had to read The Crimson and the White Petal Rose, whatever that one, the Crimson thingy. Just in March. I'm reading it over March and April. I had not looked at my book journal to check. So that's given me a bit more time, thank God. So here's the genres. I read less different genres, but yeah. I read 1 mystery. That's fine. That's okay. 2 classics. Again, kind of meh on some of the classics, but yeah. 2 non-fiction. But 5 fantasy. I am having a real fantasy buzz at the moment. I'm my middle grade and YA fantasy, but they are like comfort reads at the moment, and I am going to keep going. I'm looking for more when I go to London. I want more books like that. Fantasy is just proper cozy fantasy, and I love it. It's really making me happy, so I'm going to go back to enjoying that again. And yet this month I read 9 historical fiction and 11 contemporaries, which is exactly the swap from last month. But I'm really happy with that. Again, they're the 2 genres I read the most. I am doing my video towards the end, at some point in March, over comparing the numbers on that. But again, that's fine. I had 3 3-stars, 3 3.5 stars, 9 4 stars, 7 4.5 stars, and whatever left is for the 5 stars because I didn't add them on. Oh well, I've had a good reading month. My brain is not in gear. Let's show you the books. So the first one is, my first 2 are 3 stars, and that is The Things We Cherished by Hom Goes. I'm sorry, she's not an author for me. This was alright, and it was it's like Nazi sort of based and the Gestapo, and it's sort of 2 timelines, and it's alright. But there was like an extra storyline in here that I didn't get. So it just kind of took it off. It was all right, and it was quick and easy. It's quick to read, but it wasn't easy because it was like heartbreaking. Roger Dykesman is the young university student who's living with his brother Hans in an international embassy who's secretly working against the Nazis. As time goes by, Roger finds himself increasingly drawn to Magda, Hans' Jewish wife. But their secret world is turned upside down when Magda and her young daughter Anna are arrested by the Nazis. The Gestapo make a deal with Roger. If he hands over the internet information about Hans's operation, they'll set Magda and Anna free. And then, yeah, Roger's chased her up. It has got timelines into the present timeline as well, but there's an extra storyline in this I didn't get. So it was alright, but just alright, 3 stars. Then to a nice, again, this is Katie Ford's The Rose Revived. This was alright. It was actually one of her earliest books, so it's set like the early 1990s, so you can see that it's that old. God, I can't believe 1995 is old. But that kind of affected the read of it, because it's so old that you literally, the time settings and things like that, yeah, it was alright. It was 3 stars. The 3 lead characters, May, Harriet and Sally, are good. It's a cosy contemporary, but it is more like a chick lit than a contemporary anymore. So that, the age of it probably affected its rating. But it is good, and it was alright, but yeah, not one I'm going to keep. Then one that surprised me, because I read it for my Try a Chapter tag, and that was The Tropes and Triumphs of Grace Atherton by Ainsley Harris. And this started off with the cheating trope. And you know I have a real problem with the cheating trope. That is literally what you start the book off with. But then it goes into so much more, and it goes into a lot of triggering. There are some triggers in this for miscarriage and things like that. But what drew me in and what made it 3.5 stars was that there is other storylines. You've got an older gentleman, Mr. Williams, who comes into Grace's life, and you've got a young 17-year-old Nadia, and the young girl who's also in her life. And the generational friendships they have with the younger and the older person, Grace's friendships with them. Like, Grace is 40 and Maurice Williams is 86 and Nadia is 17. And that friendship of the 3 of them, that is what made this book really good. And it's actually one I'm glad I did Try a Chapter, and I'm glad I read it, because I really did enjoy it a lot more than I thought. And Grace grew over the book. I did hate her a lot at the early days, and I thought she was very naive. But then when you realise why, and when you realise some of the more depths in it, I thought it was really good. So yeah, 3.5 stars, but it was good. Now to the 4 stars, and they are all good books. I don't know which ones of these I'm going to keep, but they are really good. So the first one is Hom Goes by Yaganati. It was one that Katie from Books and Things said I would like in the comments, and I did. It's actually interconnecting short stories, and I don't normally like short stories, but this was done brilliantly because it interconnected perfectly. And it made it look like, even though there were individual stories for each of the characters in each of the chapters, they were really, really good. And I found myself keep going back to the family tree and stuff, and checking who was from whose side. Because it's about Effia and Essie, who are 2 sisters with 2 different destinies, and it has their 2 different family, like generational, like family trees. And I just thought it was brilliant. Brilliant book, and it really was really good. It's one I'm so glad I read, but I want to take it back to charity shop because I want other people to read it, and I think you should read it. If you want books set in Africa, America, it's set in no different countries, but it is really good. It's Ghana in one timeline, Mississippi in the other, and it talks about the slave trade. It talks about abuse. It was really, really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was a good 4 stars, almost like a 4.5. It was really, really good. I can't honestly decide. Right now my star rating's not the best because I'm literally all over the place. To another 4 stars, it's Kathy Glass' book Hidden. This is one of her, I think it's not one of the earliest, but it's one of the middle ones. And it's about Teo, and he lived his whole life underground avoiding the authorities, and they didn't know about him, and it's his foster care story. It's a really good book. Break your heart. It's not got as many triggers in it as some of the other books, but it is really well written, really good book, and I'm glad I read it, and I think people should read more about, because this also talks about the kids being brought in, immigration, things like that. And so, you know, the workhouses and stuff that we've had, like the factories and stuff where the immigrants work in the factories and the children work in the factories. That does talk about that, so it's really, really good. Then to my reread, which was Persuasion. Again, I rated it 4 stars again, but my head wasn't in it reading it this time because I've got too much going on, and my head just wasn't really in it. So I did enjoy it, but not as much as last time because my head just was in the wrong place. So I'm really hoping that me reading Villette this month is going to go better, because I don't know what's happening with my classics. I don't know how I'm reading them differently this time now at the moment where I'm not being able to take them in. I do not know what is wrong with me, but this was good. But I just think, again, I shouldn't have rated it because my head's just not right at the moment. So I'm so sorry, guys. Then to another book that's 4 stars. Another one that surprised me was The Liberation by Kate Furnivall. This is good. It was my other try chapter tag, and this was good, but this was more of a mystery, almost thriller-y kind of mystery set post-World War II. Very much mystery, very dark, about the British and American troops that are trying to bring order to Italy. Italy's like thinking there's bad guys and there's a lot of things happening, but it's quite a lot in this book, and it's quite a big book, and it was good. I didn't like it as much as Andrea liked it, but I did like it. But again, yeah, it was good. I just don't know. I don't know. It was good. Oh, I forgot I need to put that to one side because Persuasion, I need to keep one of my heads right. Yeah, it was good. Now to what I would call the very, very good books. The ones I think I'm keeping most of them. I'm gonna go and give them a big pile. My poor mother's gonna hate me because I'm giving her loads to read. I'm her library, by the way. These next ones are all 4.5 stars. And yeah, I think 4.5 stars or 5 stars. And yeah, they've really been I would say they've been my sweet treats. They have been my chocolate when I need them. They've been my comfort. They've been everything I needed at the moment. Don't worry, I'll be fine, guys. Don't worry about me. But these books have been the chocolate that I needed to eat when I've needed something to get me resting and get my head back. They are brilliant, brilliant books. First one, 30 Days in Paris by Veronica Henry. This was good. This wasn't just good, it was very good. It was one of her contemporaries that I loved. It's going back on my shelf. I'm actually going to keep this because yes, it's pink, you can laugh, it's set in Paris. I will go there, whether I drag Chris there or whether I go there with a friend. Who knows what this life's going to bring, but I want to go to Paris. And this has the Parisian feel. It has the second chance at life, the second chance at romance. It has mysteries of your youth going back. It has dual timelines, but it is so good. I like the older character, the older lead character. I like the way she goes back to her past. I like the way her friendships. I like the romance. I loved this book, and there is a comment about the fact her favourite book is Wuthering Heights, which is my favourite book. I love this. Yes, it was not 5 stars, but I don't know why I didn't. I don't know if I feel guilty putting contemporaries as 5 stars, but this was feel good. It was romance. It was just what I needed. It was a cosy read, and I loved it. And to another book that I think I may end up rereading, and this is another one. I'm actually going to have to keep books this month, which is really weird. I'm not going to keep all the 4.5 stars, but this one I think I might reread as well, and that's the Mike Gales book, The Museum of Ordinary People. It has a museum. It has a museum of ordinary people. It talks about keeping things, why we keep things, why we don't want to give things away, why every little thing we own can be connected to memories, and memories are important. I loved it. I am a hoarder. I loved this book. It was just really, really good. Her boyfriend, like deep down, Jess knows she's drifting. She needs to rekindle a sense of purpose. Her boyfriend wants her to buy a place with him, a fresh start, but first she must sort a few sentimental values she could belong she's kept from her mother's house. And this was really good. It has romance, it has friendship, it has there is also a character that's got scars, which happens very early on, and you'll find out why. And I think that bit drew me in because obviously I've got my own scars, but this was a really, really good book, and I really, really enjoyed it. Then to a book that I had heard mixed things. I haven't had it on my shelf very long. This is The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. I'm going to look for more books by this author. I think she's got a book that's coming out that I've added to my wish list. Because it's about the reading list. And there's a list of books on this. And it's made me want to pick up The Suitable Boy by Victor and Seth, even though it's in my charity shop and it's mahoosive. I think I might actually get it. Because it was on this list. And there were some books on this list that I really want. And this girl finds this list in the library, and we've got 2 lead characters, Alicia and Mukesh Patel. Mukesh Patel is the older generation. He's lost his wife a while ago. He's a widower, and things in his life are just not going very well because he lost his wife. He's literally stays at home the whole time, and his daughters tell him what to do. And he meets Alicia, who's a reluctant librarian, teenager, I believe. and she's the keeper of a curious reading list, and they both read this reading list together. And I like this reading list. I'm going to see if I can see the reading list. And I don't know if I can. Let me find a page on it. But it's got like loads of different chapters, loads of different books. So most of these books are on my reading list, and I've read them all. So let's see if I can find where. Aha! Right. So the reading list has got, and they read this reading list together, and they talk about it as their lives are taking different turns and things like that. But it's got To Kill a Mockingbird, which I read. Rebecca, read. Kite Runner, read. Life of Pi, read. Pride and Prejudice, read. Little Women, read. And it's got Beloved and A Suitable Boy. I think I'm going to have to go and pick them up, because I think this book is actually made, because it talks about how our books teach us things, how our books guide us, how our books give us life. And I really, really liked it. I thought it was really, really good, and I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Again, more different generations of being friends, people, you know, young people being friends with older people, friendships teaching us things. There is some triggers in this, so again, if you want to know triggers, please let me know. But it's a really, really good book, and how our books define us and what these people took out from the books made me think about what I take from my books and the lessons they teach us, and how important it is to read, and how much I love reading. So I'm going to take this to the charity shop. But I think I'm going to take a picture of the list first, and then I'm going to take it to the charity shop. Then to a book I'm going to keep, and this was one that I literally finished yesterday, and this is, I started this series, I've got half the series, the first 3, and there's another 3 to get, and now I want the bloody rest of the series, because I didn't expect this series to be so flipping good. Normally I'd buy a whole series before I start it, and now I remember why, because now I need the rest of the series, because this was just really good. It was Hedgehog Hollow, hedgehogs, countryside, friendships. Loved it. I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. 4.5 stars, but I still really loved it. And should I be rating these 4.5 stars, 5 stars? Because like that to me was like 5. That's almost like 5. That's almost like 5. That's pretty darn close to 5. The Museum of Ordinary People kind of is more 4.5, and the next 4.5 is more of a 4.5. But this was blooming good. So Samantha watches the love of her life get to marry another woman. She's happy to give up hope of ever finding happiness again, but then she meets Thomas, an elderly widow about living in a derelict hedgehog hollow, and her life is about to change forever. And this is just good. It's animals, it's friendships, it's a character that finds herself, and it's a brilliant series, and I have to flip and finish this series. Oh my god, I'm stuffed, aren't I? But yeah, it was really good. I now need to read this whole bloody series, because it's just everything. I was naughty. I actually went on Goodreads as soon as I read it and looked at the sneaky bits about all the other books in the series that I need to read, because I just want to know more. I want to know what's going to happen, which is really naughty of me, isn't it? The next one is a YA one. It's The Lucky List by Rachel Lippincott. I won't lend this to my mum because it is too YA for her, and I think it would also break her. Emily has always been lucky. Well, technically, her mum was the lucky one, but since she died, Emily has started to feel like her luck's run out. So when Emily finds her mum's senior year bucket list, she finds 12 ways to feel closer to her again, but she wants to check everything off. If she wants to check everything off, she'll need the help in the form of Blake. As Blake and Emily work through the list, the girls' bond deepens, and Emily starts to feel lucky again. This is very emotional. It does talk about grieving, the loss of a parent, and the other parent moving on, and just, yeah, it's very much tackles grief. It does tackle growing up. It tackles independence. Had I been a YA person that this was aimed at, I possibly would have rated it higher, but it was very good. Then to my 5 stars, I've got 4 in this pile, so I don't expect to pick a favourite again. First one was a reread, and that's Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. I don't actually think I'm going to keep this now, because I read it twice, so I don't need to keep it. It was a good book. Very, very good, but I think I enjoyed it slightly less on a reread. I read it for the part of the FOMO book club, which I will link down below, and it was very good. Oh, before I forget, I always do this, I forget, I don't have the physical book for the audiobook. I did also, 4.5 stars also, I rated Oversharing by Jane Fallon, which I listened to on the audiobook, on the Borrow Box app of the audiobook. It was a contemporary. I think that's more, looking back, I think it's more of a 4-star. But it does get better. Again, it has a very angry person who's broken up with someone. It's called Talks About Revenge, and yeah, it's very interesting. It's contemporary. I think, looking back, I think I should have rated it 4 stars. But it was good. It wasn't amazing. It was Jane Fallon, but the way the characters grew over the course of the book kept upping its rating. So I did think it was really good. Anyway, yeah, Tipping the Velvet was good. 5 stars. It was a reread. Did enjoy it. Do I need to read it again? No, I don't. I've read it twice now, so that's me done. It will be. I will obviously I will go on the FOMO Book Club's live show when they announce it, and I'll try and talk about. I'll try and join in and stuff, because I'll try and comment on that. But it was a really good book, and it was a reread. So I've written a good review on everything, so you'll see that. I'm just keeping on time. Sorry, going off to Baz book soon. But yeah, it was a good one. Then to the next 5 stars that are all. 2 of these are fantasy. This is good. First one was a buddy read with the lovely Cat from Brews and Reviews. This is the second in this series, Erin Sterling's The Kiss Curse. And I don't feel guilty that this is 5 stars. This is going back on my shelves because it's the second book. It's about Gwyn Jones, who's perfectly happy with her life in Groves Glen. I won't give out too much because it is obviously the second in the series. And she meets Llewellyn Wells Penhallow, who is the brother of the guy, the lead character in the last book, and Gwen is the cousin of the lead character in the first book. And Wells has welcomed home to Gravesend for 2 reasons: to re-establish his family's connection to the town, and to make a new life for himself. Their romance is good, but there are characters in this that are not those 2 that are my favourites, and that's the baby witches. When you read this, you will see why I love the baby witches. They're not literally babies; they're like teenagers, but the baby witches are the best. There is a cat, the character that I flipping love. It was really good. It's exciting. My only slight criticism is that they put, for a shorter book, they basically ended up it was build up, and then the last few chapters it just went and everything happened. You were like, when's this going to happen? When's this bad stuff going to happen? When's this twist going to happen? And then it all happened at the end, and it was rushed a little bit. So it could have been to do with being a little bit longer and certain things happening a little bit sooner. But that's my only slight criticism of this. But it was a really, really, really good book, and I cannot wait to read the next one. But the next one doesn't come out till October or November. Me and Kat will be buying it. We will be reading it. We will finish the series. I love witchy romances. This is witchy. This is romance. This is fantasy on that part. It is fun, and it was my chocolate. It was like a bar of dairy milk with Oreos. Crunchy. No, dairy milk dime, I reckon. Crunchy, exciting, fun, sweet. Bit naughty. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Actually, just give me an idea. Yeah. So, if I'm thinking about the chocolates for all these books, because I'm talking about chocolate being sweet treats. So, Tipping the Velvet. And I'm going to have to pause this now because I've got the school trolley, so you'll come back with the second half in a minute. So I'll just carry on the end of this video. Sorry I got interrupted. Hopefully this will connect all right. So the next 2 books that were 5 stars are Room Asia, which is a fairy tale, and it's basically a retelling. It's got 3 retellings in this, but it's got a twist. We've got Rapunzel, we've got Cinderella, and we've got Sleeping Beauty, and there is a twist in this, and there's connections, and it's a retelling. And I read this because of the lovely Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe. She got me to pick this up. There is another one coming out in the series. I'm going to be buying it. I am going to keep reading this author's works. This is family fantasy retellings on a best level. It is 5 stars. It is incredible, and this is I would say this is like a Cadbury's Marvellous mystical things, where it's got all like the exciting chocolatey bits in it. It's brilliant. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Fairy tale retellings with a twist. There is a sequel to this. I will be getting it. It's fun. If you like fairy tales, if you like retellings, if you like feisty women characters, girl characters, this is brilliant. And the illustrations are flipping gorgeous as well. So absolutely love this. And last but not least, a book that you all would have seen the review before I've even written it. And this is The Unfinished Business of Edie Brown. This is my Tandem AdPL product book that I got given by Tandem, and it's by Freya North. It is 5 stars all the way. It is my favourite for the month alongside Parcel, the story of Parcel. It is incredible. Part of it is set in it's got the story of Edie Brown. The earliest bits is set in the 1970s. And then we go to gradually goes up to the 80s as she grows up. It goes on to the 90s is like the current storyline. So I'm counting this as historical fiction. Edie grows. Edie changes in this book. She's like an eccentric. We've got LGBTQI bits. We've got race, religion, everything in this. And it is a really, really, really good book. It makes me cry. It made me happy. It gave me all the feels. I think I cried a lot in this book. But it is fan-flipping-tastic, and it is a favourite of the month, and it's one I definitely want my mum to read, and it's brilliant. So, those are the books. And as for that, The Unfinished Business of Edie Brown, I'm going to go with a classic chocolate. I'm going to go with... Oh, what's a classic? Classic but not best. Dairy Milk Original, because it's an original. Back in the early days, one of the first chocolates, like historical fiction, but it's an old time, classically brilliantly one. Loved it. Really fun and really good. Actually, no, that reminds me of Toffee Crisp, actually, because Toffee Crisp was the chocolate bars that we were going around on when I was younger, and I still bloody loved them. So actually, that was Toffee Crisp. So, if you got to the end of this video, leave me a chocolate bar emoji. Let me know what's your favourite books of the month have been. I'd love to hear in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you want to know any more of those books. If you want me to do any individual reviews on any of them, let me know down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribe it. Ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.